Hi everybody, welcome to Cooking with Chris with my husband Chris Blessing, and I'm Sarah Blessing, co-founder of Project Next Media. We want to make your life better, and Chris is going to do his second cooking show. His first one was overnight oats. Chris, take it away. Tell us what you're going to be showing us how to make.
All right, so I'm taking over now. So basically today we're going to make a dish. It's called Amatriciana. A lot of people just call it spaghetti, but spaghetti is actually just the noodle that goes into the dish. Now the Amatriciana, if you don't like how I'm saying it, it's an Italian word. It comes from a place, I think it's Amatrice, Italy. If you don't like how I'm saying it, just go ahead and type up an email, get it ready to go, and then delete it because I'm not going to read it. I don't care. So basically the dish started out, it was there's a piece of meat inside the pig's cheek that they would use, and then a special Romano cheese and pepper flakes and things. It started out, there was no tomatoes in it. Tomatoes didn't get introduced until tomatoes were brought over from the New World. So then it's kind of evolved in what people call spaghetti, and people make spaghetti all these different ways. What you see, like today, this is more of the traditional of how it's made, but it is my variation of it as well. So let's go ahead and get started. And the very first thing I want to talk about is what people refer to it by the noodle. Even though you can put this noodle in anything, and it's not called spaghetti then, is it? The noodle is very important. So basically, the original noodle should be like a flat noodle, and it has like a rough texture to it because it holds the sauce on really well. And this is one of my favorite brands. It's Decesso. You can get it at Walmart. Most grocery stores have it. It's like way better than a lot of the other brands. Just you can tell when you cook it, like the starchy sauce and everything, the texture. It's just, I mean, it'll make a big difference to use it. So I recommend that. Another one I recommend is there's a brand at Myers called Friedrichs, and anything they make pasta-wise is pretty awesome. Pretty much anything Friedrichs you get at Myers is pretty meat, everything. They've got some really cool like cured meats that don't have preservatives and things in them, or as many preservatives anyway. So that's really important. So I'm gonna go through our ingredients here. So I usually have 2 boxes of spaghetti noodles. Now I've cooked for 5 people, but I always usually try to make enough for 2 dinners because sometimes it's hard to, we just make leftovers if we don't have time.
So this is a big amount for like at least 10 servings maybe.
10 servings.
So if you want to cut it in half.
More than 10.
Yeah, if you want to cut it in half.
Runs up, I figured all the prices in, and I'll put this information on the screen, but it runs about $25. So you get as many meals as we get out, it's maybe $2 a serving, maybe. So ingredients wise, so I pick certain ingredients that are very important to me. We're gonna go through, I'll go through, tell you what everything you need, and then I'll tell you why I picked the certain ingredients. So first, you need tomatoes, okay? You need, I do 4 cans. I do 1.5 boxes of spaghetti noodles. I have balsamic vinegar. I'm not going to use the whole thing, just use a little bit. Then I have oregano. Now, I grow my own oregano, and she picks it and we dries it and puts it in the jar. And I recommend, if you've got a spot to grow fresh oregano, it makes it so much better. It tastes better and it's better for you. Kerrygold butter I really like a lot. It's Golder butter. It's really good. I'm only using a little bit of this. Parmesan, I mean, a good hard Parmesan, not the kind that looks like a powder in a jar. Definitely not that one. Get a block and shred it. This one is just one we get at Walmart, Bel Gioioso. I have no idea.
I don't know what it either.
But just get a hard Parmesan, and definitely different qualities of Parmesan. I've had Parmesan in Styria, Austria. Styrian Parmesan's really good. There's definitely different textures people like, and yeah, I'm sure people argue about it all the time online. Okay, so then you're gonna need some sugar, you're gonna need some salt, and an onion, and I'll go through it one more time. Tomatoes,
And this is
spaghetti noodles,
1 pound cans.
spaghetti noodles, sugar, salt, butter, Parmesan, oregano, did I say balsamic vinegar, and an onion. Okay, all right, that's it. Well, another thing I like to add, and if you go to Italy and have pasta, a lot of times they'll be a little spicy. Red pepper flakes. These are jalapenos from my garden, jalapenos that I dried, and then I crush them. I put them on everything. I like everything hot.
But you just put that on yours.
I put it on mine because everybody's sensitive to spicy,
Our kids
hot
wouldn't
stuff.
eat it.
And So, all right. So again, the brand I get tomatoes. This is really important to me. This is like the foundation. This is like when you make a pizza. To me, the most important ingredient is the crust. So these are San Marzano tomatoes from Italy, and it's Cento brand, and they're peeled tomatoes. So you can usually find these at any grocery store. The big ones like Kroger,
And it says
or
with basil leaf.
with basil in it. So you can get them at Kroger, Walmart, Myers. Most everybody carries them. It does have basil in it, which is good. I can't really tell there's basil in it when I taste it, but if it's spring, I'll pick basil, or if I have fresh basil, I'll chop it up and put it in there. You won't see me do that today. So, okay, to get started, first thing I need to do is I'm gonna chop up this onion. So we're doing something new here, and I don't know if that's gonna pop up on the screen or not. Every time you can do.
I don't know.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we're just getting started. So, well, I'm gonna chop up this tomato, but we're gonna do something different. Sarah's.
You're gonna chop up the onion.
Onion, yeah. Sorry. I'm gonna chop up this onion. I like red onions, sweet onions. I don't know, any kind of onion. It doesn't matter. I just get whatever I feel like at the time, as long as it's an onion. I think it'll be pretty safe. You're gonna cook this thing down and brown it pretty well, so it's not gonna be a real prominent flavor, but it is important. I just kind of peel off what I can. It doesn't look good now. All right, and then I'm gonna show you how I chop an onion. So I chop it in half, and then you can kind of cut at an angle like that.
I've never done this in my life. It looks hard.
I try to get it as small as possible because I really don't want the onion texture to stand out. I know some people don't like onions, but you really shouldn't notice onion in this dish because we're gonna cook it down. All right, so that looks good. About a half onion there. Try that, see how much it looks like. Then I'm just gonna dice it up. Just kind of go through here. If you want to know what kind of, I prefer Wüsthof knives. They're German knives. They're kind of expensive, but they're really, really sharp, and just a game changer as far as.
You need to sharpen your knives.
Well, I have never had to sharpen this one yet. I've had it for years. I usually just.
You don't want to use a dull knife.
I use like what is it called? A conditioner rod to keep the edge. So. I do have a nice sharpening kit when I do need to sharpen, but it does not need sharpening. It's very sharp still. My fingers can tell you that. All right. So try to get it diced down. I just kind of look. I mean, like half an onion for 4 cans. I mean, that's quite a bit of onion. I wouldn't probably do much more than that. And it depends, some onions are bigger than others, but whatever. Kind of like what you see here. There's my hands. All right, so I'm gonna take that. Okay, all right, so now got the onion chopped up, and I'm just gonna take, I don't know, about a tablespoon of butter. It's okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that works. Tablespoon of butter, about maybe a little tablespoon and a half. And I'm gonna put this in a pot where we're gonna make the sauce. So I got a big sauce pot, enough to fit, kind of what I think will fit. The butter off my hands here. All right, you want to record down in there? So we're just gonna, I got an induction oven, and I love it because it's so fast.
Induction stove.
Yeah, sorry, stove. And it'll heat up really quick and melt.
It's like vibrates with magnets, right? That's what the noise is.
Uses magnets to vibrate the pan, and it's like instant heat. See, look at that, already melting. So they're expensive, but boy, does it save time. So I feel like I get the money back in time, the amount of time it takes to cook. And then also you can just turn the heat off, and it's instant off.
Right.
And you can touch it anywhere.
Except exactly where the pan is.
The pan gets hot, not the burner, so because it vibrates the metal. So it's kind of cool. Now once this butter melts, which we'll kind of cut this video up so it won't have to watch the whole thing. Turn that down. We don't want it too hot. All right, so I'm thinking like a medium-low heat on this. Mm-hmm. And then, all right, I'm gonna dump the onions in here. And we're gonna cook them till they're brown. You don't wanna overcook them if you can avoid it, because burnt onions don't taste great. Unless you like that sort of thing. I'm gonna brown them. And we want that fat, we want that butter, we need that fat. Now, one thing you can do, because they have the pig cheek that's fatty, you can sometimes I'll take like a leftover pork butt fat, that I freeze, and I'll throw that in there. You can put a little bacon, but it will give it a smoky flavor if you do that. You can buy like salted pork fat in the store, which I used to do. You don't need it at all. You can go totally vegetarian. That's what we're doing today.
I can't tell too much of a difference. It always just tastes good.
I can taste it, but the fat is key to what we're getting ready to do next. So yeah, there you go. So it's cooking that fat. All right, so now I'm gonna take my oregano. And this is a trick I learned from my friend Marcelo that I work with. His grandmother's from Sicily. If you have a dried oregano, you add it to the fat.
Oh.
If you have fresh oregano, you can just add it into the sauce. And it helps the oils in the oregano bond with like the butter fat.
That makes sense.
And it changes it up. And I tried it, and I could tell the difference, I feel like, but I don't know. His grandma has to know. It's Sicily, right? So, all right, now it starts smelling really good.
Mm-hmm.
You can smell butter, roasted onions, and oregano. Now we're just gonna let that brown. All right, so now, while that's going, I'm gonna open up some cans of tomatoes and prep these. So if you don't have a food processor, you can just chop them up. It's just gonna take a lot longer to do. But it's doable. You chop them up, smush them with a fork, kind of get them to more of a saucy consistency. So I'm gonna put it in the food processor. You can put about 2 cans in this one.
If you don't have a food processor, what do you use?
I just said.
Blender? Did you say it?
You could use a blender, but don't blend it too much. You want a good consistency. You don't want it like watery. You just kind of chop it up. But I just said you could just chop it up and use a fork. You
Chop it up with a fork?
Need it. Yeah.
Sorry,
it
I
takes.
wasn't paying attention.
I know. It just takes a little longer and some patience, we have to cook the sauce for 30 minutes, so that's one reason we're doing an edited version, because I'll sit around and watch everything. Plus,
Yeah.
it's easier.
Watch for 30 minutes as we stir it and cook it.
I just kind of pulse it a little bit. I like to leave a little bit. It'll break up in that 30 minutes a lot, but I just try to I don't want it just completely blended. I'm gonna take balsamic vinegar and I'm gonna deglaze it, but I'm using a non-stick pan, so I don't really have to deglaze to like make it not stick. I'm actually gonna let that brown just a little bit longer. Getting there. I want a little more brown, but it's right on that edge of getting burnt, so I gotta kind of keep a close eye on it. Make sure that doesn't happen. Now, when you deglaze this, you can use balsamic vinegar, or you could use a white wine. Red wine, I've done before when I'm desperate. I like a white wine or balsamic vinegar, and it's gonna be like, whoa, why did I put that in there? It's gonna cook down. It's gonna give it a tang, like a citric acid. Some people don't like a lot of citric acid. I like it. I like that mouth feel. Try to balance my sweet, salty, and my sours out on anything I make. So I will really go to town on trying to get that when I'm at the end of a dish. If it's a sauce or even a soup, I always like, especially if it's got tomatoes in it. That's about as brown. You can go a little browner, but I'm gonna go ahead and just throw a little bit of that in there. And if you got a pan that's not nonstick, this would be your opportunity to
About
scrape
how much
up
do you think you put in there of balsamic vinegar?
a few shakes. Don't get too worried about it, especially if you're putting a lot of tomatoes in there. It's gonna cook down. All right, so that's nice and hot. All right, so I'm gonna take my first batch of tomatoes. I'm gonna dump it in here. You wanna get this? And all right, let that get warm. Now the tomato sauce, when you cook it, there's a little bit of a trick. You don't want it to be too hot, but you want it to be hot enough that it's steaming, because you're gonna try to reduce some of the water content and get it cooked down, cook that flavor down and thicken it up. So, like right now it's too hot, it's like popping. You don't want it popping, but you want it steamed. So one thing I'll do is I'll get it nice and steamy, Sometimes I'll turn up the heat, get it nice and steamy. And again, with induction, it's really, I can turn it up really and get hot very quick, almost instantly. And then I bring it down and then leave it to steam. So it's a lot of tomato sauce. I'm using 4 cans, so it takes a little longer sometimes to get it steamy, but not on this induction. You'll see in just a minute here. I'm gonna, again, they're expensive. Man, it was a game changer for me. It was worth the time saved and dishes saved.
About how much is it more than a regular stovetop?
I don't remember. Like, at least twice as much, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Or it was. I don't know. They keep going down in price, so.
We got it a couple years ago, right?
About 2 years ago, yeah. When all our appliances decided to die at the same time.
Yeah, in the same like month we lost the stovetop and then the fridge.
All right, so I'm gonna turn this up pretty hot. And there's a quick boil. You can boil water like, oh, it's so quick. Now I'm gonna boil a lot of water later, and it takes so much water volume. It takes a little bit longer, but this does it very quick. Like if this were just water, I mean, I'd be boiling within a couple minutes. It's the fastest boiler over gas or anything. But whatever you want to cook on, whatever you prefer, that's what I recommend. If you like gas better, if you like old one, but induction has been a game changer. So, okay, so I'm letting that get steamy. I don't start a timer yet. I'm gonna start a timer. Once that starts steaming, I start the 30-minute timer for the sauce being done. Get it steaming. I'm gonna go ahead and fill up my pot full of water here. I'm just gonna put it in the sink. You don't need to record this. You don't need to record. So I'm gonna fill up this pot full of water. And it's a pot, it's like a pasta pot. I don't know what the exact name is. I can't remember. And it's got a straining basket, so I can lift out the noodles later. You'll see that. I like to try to keep the noodles close, especially if you care about the firmness. We eat leftover spaghetti, so the firmness changes a lot. So we're not super huge on the having to have the firm texture just right. All right, so set this on, get that started. Okay, so now that's steaming. I'm gonna start a timer for 30 minutes. That's when the sauce is done. But right at 20 minutes, I wanna make sure to get that thing's boiling in the last 10 minutes. So I'll kind of keep an eye on the timer, see I'm getting close to the end of the 30 minutes. So you might even set it for 15 minutes to start the boil, depending on how fast you can boil it. And then we'll put the noodles in. But one of the things I do once the sauce gets done at the 30 minutes, you add Parmesan to it. So I'll go ahead and shred a bunch of Parmesan, like this block, probably about half that block with 4 cans. I put quite a bit, and you kind of just stir it in and dissolve it into the sauce. So you'll see that here shortly. All right, so now it's just kind of a waiting game.
I can do that if you want.
Okay, and Sarah's gonna shred this, and then I think we'll
This is
be
one
right
of the
back.
deemed Sarah jobs while he does everything else.
I don't know, just have to make sure it's not, but doesn't bubble too much and it's steaming. So it is steaming, and I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. If it starts popping, turn it down. You don't want it like throwing bubbles up just because it makes a mess. One of the things I'll tell you, I'm looking for the ingredients that I set on the table. One of the things I'll tell you, when you boil the water, just put salt in it. Don't put oil in it, because actually if you put oil in the water when you boil the noodles, it causes the noodles to not stick to the sauce as well. So a lot of people will do that thinking it'll...
Because you're told to put oil in it so the noodles don't stick, but
So
you want the noodles
the bubbles
sticky,
come up, but
so the sauce sticks to it.
you want them sticky. And then
Interesting.
sometimes I'll put oil to make sure it doesn't stick on the bottom of the pan. You'll see how I do it later. But if you really care about the sticking, just leave a little water at the bottom. All right, so, okay. So it's been almost 30 minutes. I'm gonna cook. It's been almost 30 minutes. It's beyond time to cook the noodles. So the water is boiling. And the noodles will say on there about how long to cook. I think these are around 10 to 11 minutes, if I remember right. 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm gonna do 10 minutes because you'll see why. They'll get plenty of cooking. So I do one box and then about a half another box for the portions. You can slim these portions down, you know, half them or whatever. But like, yeah, it's like 10 servings right here. All right, so I break them up. Waiting for the water to boil, I just started it again. So I break them up just because it's easier for the kids to eat. I like them long to twirl them and stuff, but it's less messy really. Break them up, I feel like when you twirl them, they like twirl and get on your clothes and stuff, I guess. I don't know, whatever you want. All right, so I'm gonna break this up. That's how we do it here. And you don't have to record me back here. I only need close-ups here. But
Yeah, but you're so cute.
whatever. All right. But thank you. All right, so that's one box. This is really the most interesting part of the show, me breaking up noodles for and telling you one box, half box, one box.
I like more noodles in it
I
because
like
it makes
mine
it go
more saucy.
It makes it go farther.
Because the sauce is the
This
most
is
healthy part of it.
our 14-year-old's favorite meal, almost 15-year-old, and he requests it for his birthday party. So Chris is very busy on birthday party day because he makes some homemade spaghetti, homemade bread that he makes into garlic bread. He makes homemade ice cream, right? And then a chocolate cake. You're
Make
very busy.
Italian style ice cream and
I
Italian
clean
cake.
the house, and you do all of that work.
All right, sauce is just about done. If I throw the noodles in again, I salt the water maybe a little bit. I don't know. So then, but don't put oil in it. All right, so it's boiling hard. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. Doesn't need to boil that hard. But, okay, so the noodles are going.
You guys ever seen
And then there's
boiling
the sauce.
spaghetti
Once
before?
you get a close up of the sauce. All right, once that timer goes off, we're going to put the Parmesan in. So the Parmesan here, Sarah shredded it. And again, that's about, I don't know how much she shredded off of it. About that amount there for the 4 cans. You mix it in, you dissolve it in. So you'll see here in just a minute. Waiting for that timer. All right, so now I'm going to add the Parmesan. It's been about 30 minutes on the sauce. I'm going to add the Parmesan to the sauce and stir it in until it dissolves. Go ahead and take a video close up there. Over here. Come. Now look at the sauce. See the sauce? All right. So here, I'm going to add a little bit of cheese at a time. And it's not steaming quite as much. I moved it to a smaller burner so I could get that bigger burner to really get that water boiling fast. All right, now I'm gonna add more cheese, and I just keep doing this until it fully dissolves in it. All right, so it's going. Can you see it? I'm holding a plate in front of it, I think. So you can barely see the cheese. Now you'll see it, but it's gonna want it to melt and dissolve in there. And then sugar, I think.
And then you just taste it.
I'm gonna stir it really well. You wanna take a video of me stirring it there, so you just get it stirred in really well. Make sure you get really mixed before you taste it. Otherwise you might not get it all mixed and then realize that it's either not salty or sweet enough. And really I'm not trying to make it sweet. This just rounds out that sour and sweet and salty. We want it to taste like a fresh tomato, like a fruit, but not like a sweet fruit. Now, I know that needs just a little bit more sugar because the bitter's a little too pronounced. So I just want to balance that bitterness, take a little bit of that bitterness off. And it definitely needs a little more salt. It could go, you could probably eat it without this extra salt, but I'm gonna add just a little bit more. The Parmesan adds some saltiness, so that's why I always wait till the end to add the salt and sugar, because you wanna know what flavors you're working with. Really anything I make, usually that's generally a good idea, is at the very end to add the salt. It just depends, you'll see me do different
Well,
things.
you can always add more salt, but you can't take it away.
Yeah, you can't really take it away. It's really hard. You have to keep adding more tomatoes, and I don't know, it'd be awful. I've been there though. All right, so now, yeah, it's got that, and it's not sweet, but it's got a rounded. It's got that bitter, a little bit of tang, but that sweetness balances it because it's not sweet, and then the tomato brings out the flavor. I can taste all those different flavors. So now, I'm gonna stir this pot of noodles and just make sure it's not sticking in there. That's gonna be done here in just a second, and then I'm gonna have Sarah help me, and we're gonna do that on the main camera. It's gonna be hard to see what we're doing because we don't have 20 hands. We're gonna do that here in just a minute. All right, so real quick, nutrition that you get. So the balsamic vinegar actually adds some antioxidants. I have it written here, polyphenols, and tomatoes also have antioxidants, the lycopene. But basically, yeah, you've got a lot of different vitamins here.
A lot of vitamins.
And don't freak out about the carbs. Just, just everything in moderation. I make it very saucy.
Don't touch that. Don't touch that.
Okay, so we're ready to go now. We're gonna do the noodles. You're gonna have to watch from that angle because it takes two of us here. I have done it by myself before. So, and I can never remember what I do here. So usually one of us takes the noodles out. So Sarah's gonna take the noodles out, the straining pot here.
Don't we turn the cold on?
I'm gonna dump it here, so.
Oh, okay, that's right, I forgot, okay.
Just gonna strain it. And then I don't need all this water. Now, if you could, the water's good to keep if you wanna add water later because it's better than just regular water because it's got that creamy, starchy, you don't rinse it. A lot of people will rinse. You don't want to rinse. You want that. That's the good stuff that makes the sauce better. So I'm just going to run it down the sink. Cold water here. A lot of that hot water. I'll leave just a tad so the noodles don't stick right away. And then we'll dump it back in here. You want to grab that spoon behind you? There. Be a great end of the video. Just dump all the noodles on the floor.
Hilarious.
Just and be more like reality. Things go wrong, especially when you're playing the video yourself.
Drop the gallon of milk during the pandemic grocery. That could have been a filmed episode. Remember that?
Nope.
That was terrible.
All right, so now I'm gonna put the noodles on the burner. All right, so now I'm gonna take this sauce here. You wanna come around so you can see? Don't worry about me. So I'm going to dump this in and try not to get it on me. Now, a lot of people put sauce on top. Traditionally, you don't do that. And I like it this way a lot better because it mixes all around. I used to not like it that way. I was like, why do people do that? But now that's the only way I really like it. You mix it in there, get the noodles mixed. You can see how saucy it is, but as those noodles mix, they're gonna absorb that sauce some too. So it will get, as like you have leftovers and stuff, it'll actually be way less saucy because a lot of it will go into the noodle and it'll be thicker. It gets thicker, it sits in here as the noodles soak it up. So basically, just get that mixed around and you've got your Amatriciana, and you can add Parmesan to the top. You can put, I recommend hot pepper if you like spicy. That's more the traditional, is they usually put pepper flakes in it. I just don't because my family, my daughter especially, is sensitive to like black pepper even. But you don't have to add a lot of stuff. Just it's oregano, it's got some basil in there. If I had fresh basil, I would have chopped some up. I actually put it in the beginning. A lot of people put it near the end. I put it in the beginning so it really just gets that basil flavor through there. And I go pretty crazy with basil. Some people don't like basil, but the basil in these cans, you can't really detect it.
So the whole meal takes about, what, an hour to make? A little less than an hour?
Yes, less than an hour. It takes 30 minutes
to cook
for the sauce to get reduced. You can do stuff while you're making the sauce, but
that's when you
got to get to the sauce point. So chopping up 45 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
If you're really good and efficient with it.
And then it should make about 10 servings, about
more
$2,
than 10.
About $2 a serving.
I'd say maybe this probably makes at least 15 servings. It would be my guess, because and Yeah, so it's good for leftovers. And if you like, if I'm having a party or something, I'll prepare. I'll chop the onions ahead of time. I'll shred the Parmesan, have it ready to go, and then it just shortens it down to almost like exactly 30 minutes, and then I can just kind of have it ready to go. Usually because I'm making ice cream and I'm making cake and I'm making fresh bread too. But this is just like a regular evening meal for us and leftovers. So when we're in a hurry, somebody can eat spaghetti, warm it up. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy it. Again, this is my version. You can make your own version based on that. I recommend just kind of starting with it and then working your way. Ingredients are very important. So the ingredients I pointed out today, the noodles, the tomatoes, those are pretty important. I would recommend those, or like the Friedrich's noodles. Also the butter, I really like that butter a lot. You could use olive oil, but again, I think butter's got, it's not a whole lot of butter, and butter's got some nutrition benefits, and it helps you burn calories faster, absorb vitamins. So
And it's a pretty healthy meal.
this is a pretty healthy meal. It's really not that many calories. I think it's around 300 something calories when I did an estimate on a calculator, which is like,
Per
what?
serving.
Per serving. But most people probably eat a serving and a half when they make a plate.
Okay, so here is Chris's Amatriciana. Am I saying it right?
Amatriciana?
Amatriciana. And we eat this probably every 2 weeks at least. And I'm just going to show you. You did a really good job with the balancing of the salt and sugar. And please share this episode with your friends that like to cook, that want healthy meals, quick meals, affordable. And let us know if you tried it and what you think about it. And thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks, sweetheart. Love you. Bye, everybody.
Guten Appetit.